Greetings. We do our review of Tesla's earnings for Q2, and more importantly, what does the future look like, which I think will impress you. So my prediction is that Tesla's stock price will double over the next 90 to 120 days, and I think you want to stick around for why that is. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the show, would like some better ideas on investing and trading, please join us on Patreon. So, first, welcome to frigid Long Island, New York. It has been rather brutally cold here, and I'm working to keep the sun in a spot where it'll give us our best look for the camera. So, earnings came out. As you know, a very interesting circumstance happened. The first half of our show, about 4 minutes, is going to just be a review in general of the numbers, and the second half will be what are the implications of the numbers we've seen. So, there's an adage that says Wall Street tends to climb a wall of worry. So think about all the things that are worrying relative to Mr. Trump and relative to tariffs and all these other things. Well, what's been happening? Yes, the market has been down, but generally it started to recover. And the question is, like, what's happening with that and how does that affect Tesla? So in general, we know that Tesla's earnings were down 71%. We also know that we were relatively solid in terms of generally what the numbers would be, because we already knew that there was a 13% drop in numbers, and we already had that from the production numbers. So about 70 to 80% of the story of what would happen to Tesla is already known and was already baked into the stock. So I was really surprised yesterday. I had a conversation with a good friend and trading buddy, and he pointed out, man, Tesla's probably going to go below $200 a share. And I was very surprised by his comment, because if we didn't have any numbers on production and revenue and sales already, you could probably say that. But when you already have at least 60% of the story, maybe 70% of the story, the market will discount that story ahead of time, so it was a done deal. So in general, you can review what the numbers were that came out just as easily as I can. Again, the major negative component is a 71% drop in earnings. Now, bigger than that is look at what happened in the aftermarket. Tesla's stock price was up $17. Now, is that a big deal? Well, think about it. The main people who can move very quickly on this are the hedge funds. Most of the people in the hedge fund were trained by large institutions, mostly mutual funds, etc., before they went into the hedge fund business. So these folks are used to taking in the data and then quickly putting that into their models and then spitting out what the future might look like, whether or not you should buy or sell that stock. And I believe what just happened is that there was in general a sense of negativity, which is valid. 20% drop in revenue, 71% drop in earnings. Yeah, that's kind of valid, but there's a little problem with this that we've talked about before. That problem is that, as you know, Tesla shut down for 3 weeks to make the transition into the newer, I guess it would be the Y and the 3 treatment. So as a result, you have to kind of figure out the weekly sort of production for all of Tesla's facilities, and then multiply that by 3 weeks. And what do we get from that? We have this interesting problem that all the revenue and most of the profit that would have shown up didn't show up because the facilities were shut down. So you could therefore argue that in general, Tesla's was about at a neutral, but the pricing of everything was in the negativity. Are things down because of Elon's activities? Absolutely. Maybe 10%, maybe more. So as a result, in general, I thought the numbers were great. and there's a reason why the stock price is up. As we usually know, first you get the rapid moving hedge funds to react, then we have a few days later what's going to happen with institutional investors. And I believe the answer that's going to come out of this is they're going to say, hey, given everything that's going on, I think the numbers were excellent and they could look a lot better. So for the second half of the show, I wanted to go through primarily two, but it could be, you could call it 10 or 20 reasons why I think Tesla's stock price will double in the next 90 to 120 days. Number one, Tesla is 90% vertically integrated. Now, they don't make tires and there's a bunch of stuff they don't make. But the issue that's popping up is that Tesla has a setup right now where there are 17 moving parts inside that vehicle, most of which are produced by Tesla, but some of which does rely on China, so we'll see how that works out. But in general, what this means is that compared to manufacturers that produce ICE vehicles and depend on that primarily for their earnings, profit, revenue, etc., we have a really interesting problem going on right now, which is Tesla's vertical integration enables it to get production out and at a price point that's reasonable, where competitors are going to have to raise prices or shut down facilities. So what this therefore means is that through a backwards route, the tariffs and everything that's going on right now could actually end up being a huge benefit to Tesla and cause it to do extremely well. As you can hear, we have the Long Island Railroad out here and they're entering the area. So what I wanted to review then is the fact that right now, yes, Tesla's stock price has been down. However, nobody knows how long the Trump modification and changes is going to last. And so the question that comes up then is, who can benefit the most from it? And in my mind, that's probably Tesla. The other issue that pops up is when you have to produce 17 moving parts, and many of those are produced in-house, you now have the benefit of the fact that if you want to switch location of your supply chain, that's another advantage because you have a lot fewer parts that you have to move around compared to competitors. So in general, do not be surprised if Tesla's stock price goes on a historic run. The next item I wanted to review is institutional investor challenges relative to investing in Tesla. So let me ask you a question. Let's say you're a money manager and you're being paid to not sit in cash, but put the cash you have to work. And the answer is, the answer therefore is that to put that money to work, you have to take risks while other people are seeking safety. So I believe you'll see a lot of institutional investors piling into Tesla, and the people that are part of the indices that Tesla is in, they can't go anywhere. In fact, they're probably going to have to increase their holdings. So there are a lot of small and large reasons why Tesla is doing great, and it may be a great time to buy. And if you're in hold, never hurts to be hedged. But I think that the whole Trump economic process seems to be 60-70% of the way there, and therefore we get back to some stability in the future. And I think this is a great opportunity for you to consider, check out Tesla, because I definitely think we're going over 300, but 400 ain't out of the question, because there's some short squeezing that'll go on as those hedge funds try to unwind those negative positions. So, at any rate, this ends our formal. We'll be back with more information relative to what's gleaned from what I think are great earnings numbers. Next, just a reminder on the health tips. Don't forget your 25 leg lifts a day, strengthening quad muscles, reducing the chance of knee issues. Also wanted to encourage you to consider prior to lovemaking, no more than a salad, because that will enable you to have blood flow to all your extremities rather than just your stomach. At any rate, once again, thanks for joining us. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Tschüss, au revoir, le hitro hodaha. Pe stražite, ni hama, Namaste, arrivederci, and in Jamaica we say enough respect, walk good. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and bye for now.